Medieval Europe. Public executions always pulled a rowdy mosh, hungry for a flaying. Live impalement, a good hang, draw and quartering, or a nasty heretic boiled in a pot of oil. It's got to be my favourite.
One of the kind of beautiful things about puppets is that when you bring them to life well, it becomes this amazing shared experience. You all know when you've done it right, and it can be quite profoundly moving. You believe 100% that the puppet has done everything by itself. I told the truth, not afraid to die. So these two puppets are kind of the Adam and Eve of murder. They're the original concept. This is Stagger and this is Nellie Brown, and he rapes her and kills her boyfriend. And when we did that as a 5-minute show, we quite literally had people trying to tear our door down to try and get in to see the show. There would be a lot of people laughing, but then there'd be this uncomfortable silence. And I think for me, that's what cemented the need for us to make the show.
He said, well, bartender, it's a plain to see. I'm the bad motherfucker called Stagger Lee, Mr. Stagger Lee.
With murder, we're trying to take people to places that are both erotic and disturbing.
Just then Billy rolls in, he says you must be the man motherfucker called Stagger Lee.
As far as how murder started, it's obvious that I have something of an obsession with Nick Cave. Lights go down, instrumental comes up. We've re-recorded our own versions of the songs. We've kind of lifted elements from songs. We're using those as reprises or as tones or as sympathetic oral accompaniments. The company's name is Earth. E-R-T-H. Earth started in 1990. Steve Howarth is a sculptor. Really, all I wanted to do was climb inside his sculptures and bring them to life. We started as street performers. Within the last decade, we've been telling the story of Australia through natural history. So we're well known for making great dinosaurs.
This structure here and this structure here are 2 of 4 mobile projection screens. They kind of go up and down like sails, and so that all the projections in the show can describe things like forests and cityscapes, and we've got quite a lot of different sort of sets and places and states of mind that we want to represent.
Point the gun right between his eyes and he just sneers back at me with that same sneer. Through all the blood and all the shit all over his face. I can't describe how good I felt right then. Years of pent-up fury roaring in my ears. I understood then the joy of feeling nothing towards someone you could kill.
There are questions about, is there good murder and is there bad murder? Questions like, why do we so easily glorify or remember the murderers but forget the victims?
We're killing serial killers.
1/10 of the world's population is currently online playing real-time virtual killing games. As far as how murder sits within our popular culture, I'd like people to question whether or not they feed it or whether they're fed by it. Have we changed since the times of the Colosseum? I don't think that we've changed at all.
You have a heart and I have a key. Lie back and let me unlock you. Those heathens you hang with down by the sea, all they want to do is defrock you. I know a river where we can dream. It will swell up, burst its banks, babe, and rock you.
Freud has this thing called the uncanny valley, and it's a graph that measures the way that we look at things that have human form. And as things take on more and more realistic or symmetrical elements of human, we invest further and further into them. Store mannequins and puppets exist very much in the uncanny valley, and our job as puppeteers is to try and keep them within the uncanny valley, which means it's about keeping them alive.
But I'm glad you come around here with your...
Good puppeteers will find that when they're operating a puppet together, that their breathing and their heart rates will actually sync in with each other. I have, for a lot of years, wanted to integrate choreographers into the work that we do. I started hounding Kate Champion.
Off you go, you go.
Can we get some of our puppets and your dancers together?
Oh yeah, roll his head round. Yeah, anything.
To pretend that death won't find us. Oh, that's going to come
That's going to come uncomfortable.
We often do choreography where we manipulate another person with other human beings. So the step into manipulating puppetry feels very organic for me. And also the psychology behind what it means to manipulate someone, or when the manipulator turns on the people who are manipulating them. Those layers are what I'm interested in.
Working with people and puppets, it really allows you to create very new worlds.
If you're gonna die with them cannibals.
It's been an amazing journey, and now we're going full circle. We're asking not just our audience, but ourselves, really hard things, and trying to take an active participation in public conversation.
It wasn't until a few years later I heard about the bodies found on that stretch of road between Can River and Orbost, and I realised that was Ivan Milat. We'd wandered onto his training ground. I made a fucking big mistake not pulling that trigger.
Thanks, everyone.